Again, I want to point out, if I've done my job right tonight, I hope you understand there's a disease called addiction, just like cancer, and then there's this person, Whitney Houston, was this fantastic artist that blessed us with her talent. She suffered from a condition. She wasn't the condition. All right, of course this condition is claimed many others now, Michael Jackson, Amy Winehouse. We just, here we go. We just go down the list. Joining me now, Ernie Singleton. He's the former president of MCA Records. Nikki Gilbert is a recording artist. She was with Whitney 2 nights before her death. Now, Ernie, this business, I was trying to get the audience to understand the difference between the person and their condition. And you said, well, it may be obvious to me. It may not be obvious to my audience. So I wish you'd dig into that a little.
Well, you talked about the person versus the condition, assuming that everyone in the audience understands the difference in what addiction really is.
Yeah.
The condition, the compelling effect of what alcohol, marijuana, pills, heroin, cocaine, what drugs do. And this shouldn't be about, in my opinion, this should not be about we keep flashing Whitney. We have a bigger problem.
Yes.
We have a societal problem.
Yes. Tell me.
What about the doctors that prescribe? I mean, young kids.
That's what I'm yelling about
They're designer
tonight.
drugs now. What are we doing? What are we doing legally to put the medical profession in check and to put pharmaceuticals in check to stop people from getting these pills and these different medications? Doc, if you gave me 2 sleeping pills right now and I told you I'm not going to go to sleep, you know I'm going to sleep, don't you?
Yeah.
Right.
Because the drugs do what they do.
Yeah.
And there are drugs that are prescribed that you don't have to be an addict. That becomes addicting. Well, how do we address those issues?
Listen, you were singing to the choir here too. I mean, I don't know the answer, and my hope is, and that's why I'm sort of dedicating this program tonight to this, is a clearer understanding of what this thing is. First of all, let's at least understand what we're dealing with here. Nikki, you have something?
I think we're dealing with, specifically as it pertains to the entertainment industry. It's an industry where pretty much everything you want, you can have. I remember my struggles with weight. Oh, Nikki, we have a pill for that. And there are people all around you who will offer that to you, these doctors. And unfortunately, I think the industry has to take accountability and responsibility for that.
I do, but
how so, Nikki?
To,
how do you make it the industry's issue
when in
theory, celebrities, you being a celebrity, drug dealers seemingly find the artist and they give it to you for free.
And not only drug dealers, guys.
The record industry isn't there.
How about doctors that are lit up and gratified by taking care of celebrities?
Absolutely.
They get turned on by that. Nikki's coming to see me, right? And now that you say, I haven't felt this good in a long time, doctor. Give me more of that. You're the greatest doctor ever. Ernie, think that.
I just mentioned to you about prescription drugs that you can become addicted without realizing it. What about all the women who some years ago got addicted to Valium?
Yeah.
What do you do with that? What do you do with these situations? What is being done by government, by the medical profession, the AMA, whoever regulates doctors, and the pharmaceutical industry to look at what people are getting? I heard someone earlier on your show talk about they were in the process of. I have a problem. I find a 22-year-old who's not in the entertainment industry, who's a diabetic, who's a pothead, and now he runs around flaunting his legal marijuana. What do I tell him?
That's a much bigger issue.
Listen, Ernie, you and I need to chat a little bit because whoever gave him that prescription, just like whoever gave Whitney her prescription, didn't understand addiction. Well, that's the problem.
Or did they not understand addiction? I mean, at the end of the day, you have a real clear understanding. There have been example after example after example. People don't know Dinah Washington years ago died from diet pill and alcohol addiction. Phyllis Hyman, same thing. Prescription pills are everywhere.
Let me get to this. Let me get to this because we're not going to be able to legislate this evening, as much as I would love to. Each of you, give me just a brief lesson that Whitney taught you that you can share with my audience. In other words, what did we get from Whitney? What gifts, besides the obvious, her talent, what did she give us? What can we take away? Ernie? Nikki?
I'd like to say that Whitney Houston made it painfully aware that the addiction doesn't really matter until after you're gone. Doesn't matter until you're dead. Michael Jackson, doesn't matter until you're dead. Everyone wants to know what Whitney was doing the night before, what Michael was doing the night before. What did he take? Everyone's in a frenzy to find out what these artists are taking after they die. Why aren't record companies doing the same thing that these football, NFL, and NBA? It's mandatory drug testing. They got 360 contracts where they take everything else. Why can't they say in that agreement, you're going to be tested randomly? If you have an issue, why aren't there doctors that record companies work with on a regular basis that they know if you get sick, you go to this guy, because he's not just going to give you anything you want. And when you start taking anything you want as an artist or as a performer, then you should be held accountable for that then,
Great
not
point.
after you die.
I like that. I love that. Ernie?
I'd have to go to a different place.
Good place.
You know, I think what we do as individuals, we do as individuals. I've known a lot of people who were drug addicts that who they lived with didn't become a drug addict. So I don't think that's the real answer, Nikki. I love you, but I don't think that's the real answer.
I like her
I'm a
answer,
big fan of Music Cares. Music Cares is the Recording
Yes.
Academy's organization and foundation that actually does a lot to reach out to artists, especially artists who have fallen from grace, not necessarily drug issues, but who are having hard times. To answer your question about what lesson I think you said we can get.
What gift did she get? What lesson did she give us?
Whitney's gift was still a gift of voice, a gift of song, an icon, a girl who came from the church. She enriched us, and she enriched the American culture like many other people before her has, but in a very unique manner. And I don't think that her death should be the definition of what Whitney's. Whitney will live long after we're gone.
I completely agree, Ernie. Thank you very much. And by the way, I've worked with Music Cares forever.